Hello everyone, I'm Belle and welcome to Crack the Code. Together, let's crack the code on health, hustle, and a life unfiltered in both college and post-grad life. Hi everyone and welcome back to Crack the Code. If we haven't met before, I'm Belle and I'm the host of this little podcast. Thank you so much if you are returning. I'm happy to have you back. If you can't tell, there's been a little change in scenery. I was home when I filmed my intro, if you were watching, and I'm now back at school. So I am currently in my little shoebox of a room and in Tallahassee, so that's super exciting, heading back into the groove of things. We were just off for a whole week due to snow, which was insane. It was so surreal and such a great and special moment, especially being senior year. I made a little video and posted it on my Instagram at anabellaarae, my personal Instagram, if you are wanting to go check that out. With all that said, I am so excited to jump into Crack the Code's first real episode, if you want to call it that. I got some great feedback and it seems like you guys are very excited, which makes me so happy and so excited as well. Continue to let me know if there's specific things you'd like for me to talk about, specific length of episodes, and anything and everything. I am a big feedback girl and I'm always open to it and wanting to hear what you have to say. So without further ado, let's head into our episode, which would be our 2025 ins and outs. If you aren't familiar what an in and out list is, I don't blame you. It is kind of one of those trends that come around towards the end of a year. So for 2024, it started circulating around December and January. And basically you talk about what is in for this year, so things that you want to see in your 2025 year, and then the outs, so maybe things you have experienced in the past or things that you have seen from afar that you are no longer wanting to come about in this 2025 year. So to begin with mine, we're going to start with the 2025 ins that I have set for my year. I am really wanting to get into strength training. If you have read my story, you know that I have done all sorts of workouts ranging from Pilates to yoga to F45 to running half marathons, and the list can go on and on. It's kind of insane. But what I have found for my body to work the best has been Pilates and yoga. I do Pilates almost every day, and along with that, yoga as well, and I have loved it. I feel like this has made such a big difference in my life and has held me accountable in many great ways, such as going and working out at 6 a.m. because if I don't, then I'm going to get charged. I've lost so much inflammation, so much water weight, just really because of it holding me accountable and going. I've been able to tone so much more in my body, but I feel like when I reflected on my 2024 year, as much as I loved it, I feel like I am now kind of plateauing. So I would love in this year to bring in strength training. Lauren Bostic talks about it all the time. So many personal trainers talk about it because it's real. Adding weights into your everyday routine helps you build so much strength and muscle and not weight. I think that gets so misconstrued in, I don't even know, this stereotype of if a woman lifts weights that they're going to gain weight. And let me just say, you have to eat a whole lot of food and a whole lot of protein. It is hard to gain weight, y'all. Gain real weight. And so don't let that scare you. That is something that I'm going to try to implement in my life, is some strength training, and I have yet to do it. So I'm putting it on the podcast because you guys better hold me accountable. I am really looking into weight training. I do it a lot when I'm at home because I have an at-home gym far from me. But here it's a little hard when the student rec center can get a little crowded. So we're going to figure it out together, and we're going to make time for the gym because I want to continue to watch my body change and grow in so many great ways. And I feel like adding weights into my routine is only going to help that. Following that is something that I implemented in 2024. I'm going to continue to implement, which is early morning / routine. I have seen such a difference in my life when I am waking up early and working out. And I say this not because I think everyone should wake up early and work out and move their bodies. It doesn't have to be a 6 a.m. thing. When I took my 2024 year and went to go re-audit my life, which I am going to be making an episode on auditing your life, so wait for that because it will make a lot more sense. But basically when I look back at my year and saw what worked and what didn't, this is something that truly worked. My days, once they start, they are nonstop. So for me, a 6 a.m. workout is a must because I don't have the energy to go to the gym or go to Pilates at the end of the day. So that is something that has worked for me. I love my mornings. I didn't have anything to do today until noon, and I still went to 6 a.m. yoga because I was given the 4 hours this morning or more to take time for myself, do my skincare routine, make myself my yummy breakfast, put in all those little things, my Devo and etc., because I don't want to be rushing in the morning. That is not the goal. I can check off that workout, check off my Devo, check off all these things that honestly give me such a rush of serotonin that makes getting up early in the morning worth it. Following that would be reading, and specifically audiobooks. Y'all, if you are a podcast person, I'm telling you right now, you have to try Audible. It gives you 1 credit a month, and it truly has changed my reading game. I'm flying through books so much quicker than I would before, and some books are better read aloud than read to yourself. I read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and I feel like that wasn't a book I would ever normally read on my own. The lady reading it had that French accent, so when it came to names and when they were talking French or whatever that might be, she said it so well and made the story almost come to life. I recommend audiobooks. I just recommend reading in general. It just helps expand your vocabulary, gives you more to talk about, and is a fun hobby to have. If you are not one to read, I totally get it. I was once there. Maybe try an audiobook or see if something sparks your interest and go buy that book and just try it out. If you want, you can follow me on Goodreads and Fable, which is just anabellarae. I rate all my books and I'm very active on there. I swear that has more of my screen time than Instagram or TikTok. I love those 2 apps. My current reads right now is on my Kindle. I'm reading 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and loving it. Along with that, I am listening to Margot's Got Money Problems, and currently on the fence about that one. Not sure how I feel about it, but Elle Fanning is reading it aloud, and so she's doing a great job doing that. Following that would be lymphatic drainage. If you feel like you wake up and you're puffy and you just, I don't know, you can't shake it off, lymphatic drainage is about to be your best friend. There are so many tools that you can use for this, but then along with that, you can do it for free with your hands. Lymphatic drainage is an exercise you can do in the morning, at night, or throughout your day, and I typically do it after my skincare routine is done, and it's basically just draining the water within your lymph nodes and kind of putting it back into your body and releasing that puffiness from your face. So a reminder, when you are doing this lymphatic drainage, you're typically taking your hands and lifting always in an upwards motion. So that could be along the jaw and up to the ear, from the middle of the face up the cheekbone. You could like do it very lightly on your eyes, lifting up. This has completely changed the shape of my face and the look of my face, and has completely gotten rid of that puffiness I normally used to have in the morning. I felt like I have a very round face, and part of that has gone away due to taking time to do lymphatic drainage, which highly recommend. Alongside lymphatic drainage is definitely a solid skincare routine. I mean this, and this is something you can literally ask any of my friends. I used to not have a skincare routine because I would just pop a spironolactone, which is for my hormonal acne, and say, I have great skin, I have clear skin, it's perfect, it's fine. And no, that's the worst piece of advice I could ever give anyone, is to not have a skincare routine. Y'all, take time for yourself. Even if you think you have great skin, it just helps even more. And it's a little treatment. It almost feels like a little morning treat whenever I get to do it, or night treat. And it's something that I can't go without a day doing. I can always break down my skincare routine in another video or another episode if that is something you guys are interested in, but highly recommend a solid skincare routine that works for you. And when you are trying out new products, one change at a time, just in case your skin does react to it. You know exactly what's causing it. So if you're wanting to implement a new product, do one thing at a time, see how your skin reacts to it, and then continue to add on or take away what you'd like. Following my solid skincare routine for my in would be the word consistency. And it sounds silly, but consistency is what creates the biggest difference. Even just having this last week off, I have felt so off because I haven't had my consistent routine, things I'm used to, and the little pieces of serotonin I get when it comes to my early mornings or my evening routines. So finding consistency is when you're going to see the biggest change in your life, and that is something that I'm continuing to bring in with me in 2025. Following consistency would be a high protein diet. I, for some unknown reason, did not understand the significance of protein until 2024. And it sounds so silly because I'm 22 years old. I should know what protein is and what it does. But I don't think it really clicked for me until this last year. I have noticed that the more I increase my protein, the less hungry I am throughout the day, the less snacking I'm doing, and the better I feel and the more toned my body gets. I think because protein can be so caloric at times, it's a little intimidating. But if you are finding the right protein and the right way to add it into your diet, it is going to make the biggest difference in your life. I can't even begin to explain. It is something that I am going to continue to do in 2025. So feel free to follow Crack the Code on Instagram, as I will be sharing different ways that I am implementing this. I actually just went to the grocery store this morning because our meals this week are kind of terrifying. If you know, you know. If you've been on a meal plan, you get it. So I'm trying to find ways to crack the code on these meal plans, implement more protein, and figure it out with you, all within a budget. After that, I am also bringing into this year therapy. I feel like I went a long time without it, and it is something that I am already implementing back in my life. I've been every week this month, and it is something that has been helping me tremendously. Even though I don't feel like I necessarily need it, it is something that has made such a difference in my day-to-day life. My way of thinking is very much fix it, and we're trying to kind of rework that train of thought and also implement ways that when I am feeling a little overwhelmed, a little stressed out, different tactics to use throughout my day to kind of calm my nervous system and kind of reprogram my brain in a way. I can kind of go into a little more of therapy and the benefits that come with it in another episode. That is something I'm passionate about and encourage so many people to do. It seems a little far-fetched for some people, and I totally get it. Or maybe they've had a therapist and don't want to do it again because they didn't enjoy their experience. Do know that finding the right therapist is kind of like dating, and you are allowed to outgrow therapy or your therapist. So do know that you are not alone in that, and a lot of times you're gonna have to date to find the right therapist, and sometimes you outgrow them, and that's okay. If they're a good therapist, they'll understand that. But do know that they go to school for you and to better help you and understand yourself. So as much as we love talking to our moms or our dads or our family or friends, they can only give you such great advice until they can't anymore. And that was like something my mom and I talked about a few years ago before I started going back to therapy. Is she got to a point where she was like, I don't know how to help you. I'm not educated enough in it. And that's when I was, okay, you know what, you're right. I need to go to someone who went to school for this and are educated on this and can give me tangible pieces of advice to help me throughout my life. So highly recommend going to therapy. It is life-changing. Even if you think that you are on cloud nine and doing great, there's always something to work on. And following therapy is actually something I've been working on in therapy, which would be affirmations and just journaling in general. I used to be so great at journaling, but I feel like the older I'm getting, the more busy I'm getting, and the more I'm kind of pushing it off. So trying to stay on track with my journaling and affirmations. It sounds so silly again with the affirmations, saying aloud, I am worthy, I am hardworking, I am a driven person, I'm allowed to take time for myself. It seems so silly, but the more you do it, the more you are going to believe it. You're putting it out there, you're affirming yourself of who you are and what you are, and with that, reminding yourself to not speak negative things about yourself in your head, and especially out loud. I have to catch myself doing that sometimes, and it only hurts, it never helps. So saying those affirmations, whether you're alone in the car or in the morning, if you're looking yourself in the mirror doing your skincare or your makeup, saying, I am beautiful, I am excited for what today brings. I am capable of handling this busy schedule, and I'm going to take things day by day. Something that I've been affirming myself and gonna kind of bring into this year as well, my little mantra, if you will, is I release control. I release control, and I'm a believer, and so it's I release control, I trust in God. I release control, I trust in God. And then this can be like an inhale, exhale thing. So if it's and you want to do a breathing exercise, you inhale, I release control, exhale, I trust in God. And it could be whatever that is for you. It could be inhale, I am worthy, exhale, of new beginnings, or inhale, I am beautiful, exhale, and I know my worth. whatever that is for you, figuring that out. And again, some of you might laugh about this, but the ones that actually take that advice and implement in your life, let me know how it goes. Try it for a week, see how it works, and I'm very interested to see if you notice any changes in your self-confidence or whatever that area of life you're struggling in. I have seen the biggest difference in my life, and I'm going to continue to bring that in with me to 2025. Last for the ends is habit stacking. Whew, y'all. If you know me, you know I'm a habit stacker. I learned about this after reading Atomic Habits and then kind of reintroduced it into my life this last year. What is habit stacking? Habit stacking is kind of finding that 1% and putting it into your daily life to then equal that 100%. So if you're like, Belle, that made no sense, I got you. Totally fine. Habit stacking is a way to build habits in an efficient and sustainable way that you can maintain throughout your life. It's not just a moment of, oh, this month I was really good at it, and then you get burnt out and move on. So a good example of this that I would have would be my mornings. I feel like I have really gotten down on my morning routine and have it pretty solid. I've habit stacked greatly with it and have kind of made it to where it's that 100% for me. That would include waking up at 6 a.m., doing my devotionals in the morning, listening to worship music every morning without fail. I am tongue scraping. I am doing oil pulling when I shower. I dry brush every time before I get in the shower. Whatever that is, I'm constantly adding these little things in my routine. AG1 before I go work out. It's a shot of apple cider vinegar. Whatever that is, I slowly add it into my routine. So say I have my set routine and it used to just be wake up at 6 a.m., go work out, come back, eat breakfast, and move on with my day. Instead, it was, okay, this routine's working out, and now I'm going to add in drinking AG1 in the morning. Okay, cool. Now it's 6 a.m. workout, wake up for workout, drink my AG1 on my way to my workout, listen to worship music, workout, come home. And then once I have that done, it's wake up at 5 a.m., drink my AG1. Now we can add a shot of apple cider vinegar because I've kind of gotten in the routine of already being in the kitchen, and then go to my workout, listen to worship music, come home. And so basically, if that makes any sense, you are kind of building on to what you already have and established at a slow pace. So that way, by the end of whatever that routine is and habit is, you've implemented so much you don't even realize what you have done has changed so much of your life, and it's now your normal everyday routine. Find maybe one thing a week that you want to implement that you kind of been pushing off, and make it easy and accessible for yourself. So if I'm going in the shower, in my shower bucket that I have my dry brush in there. I have my coconut oil to oil pull, which is basically just you take a scoop of coconut oil, put it in your mouth, and swish it around for 10 minutes. It's not the most fun thing in the world, but it's really good for your oral health. So my coconut oil's in there, and my face wash, whatever it is, it's so accessible that there's no excuses for not doing it. So those were my 2025 ins. Now we're going to kind of work over to my 2025 outs. My first out is caring about other people's opinions, especially those that I don't admire. And I know that sounds a little harsh, but I mean it. I am so sick and tired of caring about what other people think, and I've kind of always been that way, but especially this year, this podcast, this whole Crack the Code thing is obviously very nerve-wracking and leaves a lot of open room for people to judge. But I was watching, I believe her name's Danielle on TikTok, her sister's Acquired Style, but I just want to make sure she gets the credit she deserves. But someone asked her, because she worked a corporate job, does anyone make fun of you? Did anyone make fun of you for making these videos and then going into a corporate job? Like, who, did you ever experience that? And the best piece of advice that she gave and I heard was nobody that was cooler than me. And I was like, dang, you're right. Because it's so true. Why care about what other people think if they aren't the people that you look up to or admire? The people that I look up to, such as, and I know, y'all, if you follow me on here, you're going to hear about Lauren Bostic a lot and Gracie Norton. Sorry, but they're amazing. But I can guarantee you, if I shared with them what I'm doing, they would say, that's amazing, keep doing that, and one day it's going to pay off. They're not going to look at me and say, why would you ever do that? You should never put yourself out there. That's so embarrassing. So thinking about who it is that you are truly getting your opinions from or receiving feedback from, because typically if someone's judging you, they just wish that they could do what you are doing, and never let it stop you. Because even in high school, filming my silly little YouTube videos, oh, people talked about me. Don't worry, people talked about me, people were judging me, but you know what I have that they don't? Memories that will last a lifetime and amazing moments that I can always look back on. So never, ever, ever take an opinion from someone that you don't look up to or admire. And if anyone that is that way that you admire or look up to, then bye. They need to be off your role model list. Next would be situationships. Ooh, yeah, rough one. Yeah. If you don't know what a situationship is, which I feel like most people do that are probably listening to this, it's basically just the toxic way of dating without a label. It's a lot of games, it's a lot of mind messing, and I feel like this year, even in therapy, something that I am working on is kind of reprogramming my mind and realizing that's not normal, that's not okay, and you deserve better than that. And if I could go back, obviously I don't regret anything because you learn from so much and doing so much, but that is something I wish I was a little more careful about and a little more protective about. I always like to think that you're okay until you realize you're not. So don't recommend situationships. That is out. Goodbye. I only want to see guys or a guy that actually wants to pursue me for me. And if dating is in that realm, then amazing. And I'm open for it, but I'm not here to play any games. And you shouldn't be either, no matter how old you are or what phase of life you're in. It's not fun, it's exhausting, and instead use that energy for yourself and your career and your school and your friendships and your female friendships. The best thing in the whole world. I'm gonna make a whole episode on it because I'm so passionate about good female friendships. Following that is staying comfortable, and so this would come with your job, your friends, and your habits. Enough with the using I'm in college as an excuse or just feeling like you have to kind of stick with it because you owe someone or something. But basically I say that because I feel like a lot of times we get stuck and we get comfortable when we are ready for change and we're not willing to make that move or make that adjustment in our life because we're scared to. The best thing that you could ever do is get comfortable with the uncomfortable and know that change is inevitable and there's nothing that you can do about it. So really pushing yourself is huge for 2025, and let's leave staying comfortable in 2024. Next would be feeling guilty for saying no. Oh my gosh, I just saw a quote on Instagram. I reposted it on Crack the Code, but it was saying along the lines that saying no is a form of self-care, and it is. Just because you're a senior in college and everyone's going out on a weekday or a weekend and you're not feeling up for it, please know that the word no is a full sentence. The Olsen twins said that, and I've used it ever since I heard it a few years ago. No is a full sentence. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to justify anything. And to the people that you are having to justify or explain why you're saying no to, they're not your people. Point blank, period. I expect that respect from others when I say no, as they should do the same with me if I'm going out and want them to come out. An invitation's always nice, but pressure is never. Following this would be fast food. Oof, on a night out, y'all, some DoorDash always hits. It always hits, but it never feels good the next morning. I swear, that gives me a more worse feeling in the morning and a worse hangover than the actual alcohol itself because I'm eating things I never normally eat and it's so processed and horrible. So that I'm going to aim, and I've already been making that mistake literally this last weekend. So I'm going to aim to try to get that away. I honestly need to just delete DoorDash and that craziness because it's too expensive. It's not healthy and good for me. So we're going to try to keep that out of 2025 starting now. Then after that would be confusing laziness with rest. I feel like there's been a lot of times where I've been thinking, I'm resting and I'm thinking I'm being so lazy and I need to be doing X, Y, and Z. But y'all, we are all going to be restless if we don't have rest. So take that time for yourself, and whether, that's that 45-minute power nap, I take those and it changes my days and my moods and my life. So no shame in a power nap, but give yourself an allocated amount of time, rest, chill, turn your brain off for a second, so that way you can come back strong, powerful, and ready to rock and roll. Don't confuse laziness with rest. After that would be late nights. This is something that I'm also working on. I used to be really good about, but I just feel like there's been so much change recently in my life that I've been having a little bit more late nights, but I love a good early morning. So early nights are super important to me. I'm trying to make sure I'm going to bed at a decent hour, getting a good amount of sleep before hitting the ground running the next morning. Snoozing my alarm. All right, I'm putting it on here because I've been doing horrible about it and I need to be doing better. I love a good extra 10 minutes in bed, but we're all kicking it with Mel Robbins' 5 4 3 2 1 method, and I need to be doing the same. So let's leave that in 2024 together. Help me hold myself accountable, and let's quit the snoozing of the alarm. Once you're up, and let's rock and roll and have a great day. Overall, those are all my ins and outs for 2025. I am so glad if you are still here that you took the time to listen to this. Let me know if you resonate with any of it or find any of it interesting or some stuff that you want to implement in your own life. This has been so great and so fun. I truly, truly love sitting and just talking with you guys and getting your feedback. Please don't be scared to comment or DM me. I am so receptive to feedback, like I've been saying, and want to know what you guys are wanting to hear. Coming up next Tuesday is going to be a really fun video. I'm going to be doing my monthly favorites, or I'm going to be doing my internship / job / interview, crack the code. We're going to be cracking the code on all that. So let me know, check my story, and let me know which one you would rather see first, and we'll go from there. But thank you guys so much. This is so fun and so exciting, and I truly can't wait to see where the journey of Crack the Code leads to. I hope you have a great week and a great day, and I will see you next Tuesday. Bye.